Hello and welcome back to the channel. Right, today I'm going to talk about writing, and I know I posted a clip a very long time ago, mid-spring last year, and said that I was going to be writing a novel and I needed your help and I would be sharing it as I went along. And since when, you've heard practically nothing about it. However, I have been writing, and I thought you might be, and not only have I been writing, but the work I have been working on has been sold to a real bona fide publisher. So I thought I might share with you how I have finally got my head down to start producing work again after a hiatus of 10 years. And perhaps you might be interested in some of the ways that I keep my mojo going and keep my brain functioning and keep the words coming out and so on. So off we go. And if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Please do subscribe, press the bell icon, and we'll tell you when we've got more clips coming up. And if any of the tips and tricks I give you along the way are useful, you can always buy me a coffee, or better still, join my club. And the links to coffee buying and club membership are in the blurb to all my clips. This channel is about flower farming, growing flowers, floristry, eco-floral techniques, gardening, small businesses, social media, writing, lifestyle businesses. Those are the sorts of things we talk about. So you'll be very, very welcome. Lovely community of people here, lots of people chatting in the comments. And the club is 365 members strong. So that's a fun place to meet and find out more. And since we're on a book subject, the club now has a book club session, a live Q&A once a quarter about reading, learning, writing, and all of that. So that's our first session for the book club. Our second book club chat for the club is tomorrow night. Anyway, no, Thursday. Anyway, enough of that. On we go. So I have been busy rewriting The Flower Farmers Year, and this is how I have done it. Now, for those of you who haven't watched this channel all the way back, in September 2023, I went on a fantastic personal development day with Alice Armstrong of Armstrong Scales Coaching. And I really, really highly recommend. I think we should all, anyone running a small business needs to put into their cash flow that they're going to make enough money to spend a day a year at least just taking the temperature of their own mental health, checking themselves, just taking a check that they're doing the right thing, that they feel like they're on the right path, that their focus is, that everything they want to do is achievable, or if it's not achievable, how can they make it achievable, all of that stuff. Just stop and take a check. Anyway, I was extremely inspired. I think I was particularly ready for this day at the time, and I was really, really inspired. And one of the things I came away with from there is a Pomodoro. And so the way I now do my writing is I have a number of words a day that I have to do. I have to do 1,000 words a day. And I don't give myself a huge amount of time to do it because I haven't got a huge amount of time. I've got a job. I'm a flower farmer and I teach a lot of workshops. I'm busy. I've got teenage kids, all of that stuff. My house is falling down. Granny lives with us. There's plenty on. So I've got to be really strategically manage the time. But of course, it is a fact that the more you do something, the more you exercise the muscle, which makes it possible for you to do it. So again, very inspired by Michael Mosley, and he did a book on how to do things, one thing a day you can do that's going to take a minute a day to make your life better. And this was in somebody's Christmas stocking here. And so I read it. And one of the things it said was to do press-ups every day. And I thought, oh, really? But I tried to do a press-up. I couldn't eat, and I was horrified. I couldn't do a press-up properly. I could do a knee press, when you're on your knees and you do press-ups. But I couldn't do a press-up with my legs straight at the beginning of January. It is the the 30th of January, I can do 11 proper press-ups now. So I exercised the muscles and now I can do more press-ups. And writing is exactly the same. The more you do, the better you get at it. You don't necessarily become the world's greatest writer, but, you know, I'm not Shakespeare, but I'm not aiming to be Shakespeare. What I am aiming to do is I have a lot of information which I want to share in a manageable and intelligent way so that other people can make the most of it and find it useful. And the only way I can do that is by getting the words down, and then I'll edit it. If you don't get the words down in the first place, then you've got nothing to edit. So when you're writing, you do not produce perfect finished prose first time. You know, Shakespeare did not sit down and write, the quality of mercy is not strained, blah, blah, blah. Well, he might have done, but I bet you there was a bit of crossing out. Sorry, I'm just going to let Tea Cake in. Teeks. Come on. Come here. Tea Cake is my border terrier, and those who watch this channel often know that basically what she says, everybody drops everything for her. Anyway, so what I do now is using I have found since I've started really writing again that I am much more fluent and fluid with it. And so long as I do a bit every single day, I don't do it at weekends because it's the weekend. It's work. So I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Out comes the Pomodoro. The phone gets put to really far away. And I put the Pomodoro on 30 minutes. And while it's ticking away for 30 minutes, I'm not allowed to go to the loo. I'm not allowed to put the kettle on. I'm not allowed to stand up. I have to sit at my seat and concentrate on the job in hand. And I cannot tell you how much faster I am getting this book done than I would have been without this trusty tomato. So the power of the Pomodoro is real, Alice Armstrong Scales Coaching. Thank you very much. Any artist, whether they are a visual or a photographic or physical or literary artist, will tell you that the more you exercise the brain, the writing or the sculpting or the photography part of the brain, the better you get at it, the easier it comes to you. Whether you're a brilliant writer or not is another thing. That's a whole nother section. But actually just getting the words down, yes, that's the way to do it. Just get the words out of your head onto the page. And the more you do it, the more easier it is to find the words and allow them to come out of your, well, in my case, out of my fingers in relatively useful sentences. So I don't go back at the end of once I've written my 1,000 words, I don't go back and read a single one of them because there isn't time. What I am doing is I'm making a list of notes of how I might arrange the book slightly differently than I did last time. And there might be 2 or 3 little kind of appendices, which I think would be really, really helpful because I know that people don't necessarily read books cover to cover. And that if there's an appendix with quite a lot of information without cursive language, that's always really, really helpful. That's the bit you rip out and stick up in the greenhouse. So I'm doing that as I go, but I will not edit it. I'm just getting the words done. And every day I do it, it gets a little bit easier. Anyway, so thank you very much for your patience. If you have been waiting for news of Ellen. So my next challenge once I've paid my tax bill and a number of other scary things. No, there are all sorts of things going on this year. We're very much developing at Common Farm. We're not staying still or static. So there's quite a lot going on. But only once I've written my first draft will I edit it. And my next challenge is once I've kind of got all, you know, when you feel like you're juggling a lot. Actually, I'm not juggling. I never feel like I'm juggling because I can't juggle. I would drop the balls, so that's no good. But what I am really, really good at is tidying up. So I feel as though I'm playing constant games of Tetris, endless games of Tetris in my life. So sometimes, you know, I play teenager Tetris, fridge Tetris, supermarket Tetris, bank Tetris, money Tetris. I'm always playing, you know, various different kinds of Tetris. And what I would really like to do is find another hour a day. So I've got I've exercised my writing muscle by rewriting The Flower Farmer's Year, coming along nicely, thank you. I have reminded myself how that works, and I've really got that going. So it's like an artist who does a 10-minute sketch every day. I can do that. Now I need another hour a day for writing novels. I'd like to write an hour, or, you know, a couple of hours fiction, paid. Thank you. And then I need an hour a day to write a couple of hours non-fiction, here it is. And then I need an hour a day to write fiction. And the thing is, if you do it an hour a day, you think, but that's not enough. I've got to have time to think of all the things. That's not true. You can spend the rest of the next 23 hours between sitting down and actually getting the stuff out of your head onto paper. You can spend thinking about what's coming up next. So the physical act of writing for an hour is not anything like the thinking. The thinking is much, much more. And I'm lucky because I'm a flower farmer and florist, and I work on my own most of the time. So I have plenty of thinking time, so long as I keep the noise coming into my head down. And so that's the other thing I have learned since I went on my personal development day with Alice, is I realised that I was filling my head up with noise, which wasn't really making any difference. It was just noise because there was so much of it I couldn't take it in. So I would listen to, long form news programs on a podcast. I would watch the news, read the news. And when I wasn't doing any of that, I would have music playing all the time. And I have transformed my life by cutting out a lot of the noise. And I still listen to long form news programs on a podcast, but not probably once a week, I'll catch up with one. And I still listen to music, but nothing like as much. If I get in the car to go somewhere, I tend to not listen to anything the whole way there. I just try and think, I just do thinking. And then, so I've got an active brain, which is actively, consciously, I'm going, now it's time we'll do some thinking. Okay, says my brain, all right, let's do some thinking then. So we do thinking, no noise. I can't do thinking and noise at the same time. And then I exercise the writing muscle 5 days a week, and it's working. So there you are, a little update on the writing. Once again, yet another post where I'm just standing still. But you know all this stuff about B-roll. Sorry, this is a whole another thing. But I was, fighting imposter syndrome at all times. I'm always conscious of how other people say you're supposed to do something. For example, a YouTube channel. And I am told again and again and again, things like, don't have a shot running for more than 5 or 10 seconds because people get bored. Well, here we are, 12 minutes and 40 seconds in, the same shot, and only one person talking. Always have lots of B-roll and floating around, little bits of music and little sort of, butterflies or now we change subject kind of thing, which I haven't got time to do, so I didn't ever do that. Anyway, then the other day I was allowing myself to be distracted and I watched a YouTube, how to make a YouTube channel piece made by YouTube, in which two people stood exactly like me, talking to each other for about 15 minutes. And the view didn't change. The background was completely, white. It was two people just chatting. And I thought, well, if that's what YouTube's doing, I'll copy YouTube. Never mind what all the other people tell me. I'm going to do what YouTube says. Anyway, enough. Thanks very much for your patience. I hope you found it interesting. And if you are thinking of writing, I have found it very helpful to short periods of time with a timer and or X number of words. Once you've done the X number of words, you can walk away. And the 5 days a week, if you can make it so that it's every single day, working day, then you can get it done. So all I need to do is find another hour. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it, and more writing thrills coming up, I'm sure, soon. Bye. Oh, I can never make this thing turn off.